In this video, I am going to talk about how to develop Spring First application that demonstrate dependency management through setter injection. Let us try to understand dependency management. Let us assume we have a class 1, class 2. Class 1 needs class 2 object. What we generally do? We go to class 2, we create object of class reverse. We go to class 1, we create the object of what? Class 2, and we will start using class 2 methods in class 1. Later we create object for class 1 and we will start using that object also. In this process, you are loading class 1 and class 2 classes, you are creating object, you are assigning manually class 2 object to class 1. But goodness of Spring is, you give both the classes to IOC container of Spring. I mean Spring containers, either bean factory or application context. It says I will take care of whole process. That means it loads both class 1 and class 2. It creates class 1 and class 2 object. It assigns class 2 object to class 1 and returns class 1 object whenever you want. So this is called dependency management. What is that? Dependency management. Simple thing. Here underlying Spring IOC container, either bean factory or what? Application context container, loads both classes, creates both classes, and it dynamically assigns dependent class object to what? Main class object whenever need is there. For example, if I give service class that contain business logic, DAO class that contain persistence logic to Spring IOC container, it loads both the classes, it creates objects of both classes, assigns DAO class object to what? Service class, and returns what? Service class object to you whenever you want. Service class object to you whenever you want. That means here service class is called what? Target class or main class. DAO class is called what? Dependent class. Very simple. How can you find out, sir, which is target class, which is dependent class? Simple theory, simple theory. The class that uses other class services is called as what? Main class or target class. The class that is being used by other class is called as what? Dependent class. Service class is target or what? Main class, because it uses what? Dependent class called DAO class. Are you with me? DAO class is called dependent class because it is being used by what? Service class. If I give one more example, vehicle engine. Vehicle needs engine. Engine does not need vehicle. Yes or no? Vehicle needs engine. So vehicle is target or what? Main class. Engine is dependent class. I hope you got a clarity on it. So the beauty is in Spring, you don't create object, you don't assign objects one with another manually. Everything is taken care by Spring container. That's why it is called dependency management. This dependency management, if it is done through setter method, then it is called what? Setter injection. If it is done through constructor, then it is called what? Constructor injection. So if it is done through constructor, then it is called constructor injection. If it is done through setter method, then it is called what? Setter injection. That means if IOC container, either bean factory or application context, assigns dependent class object to main class object by calling setter method of main class, then it is called as what? Setter injection. If a dependent class object is assigned to what? Main class object through what? Parameterized constructor, that is called what? Constructor injection. So today I would like to develop my first application performing what? Setter injection on main class property to inject dependent class object to main class. What is that? You know that any class you can take as a Spring bean. Only the thing is that class object should be created and managed by whom? Spring container. You can take user defined class, predefined class, third party supplied class, Spring API supplied class, JDK API supplied class. In fact, any class you can take it as what? Spring bean. Only the condition is those class objects should be created and managed by whom? Spring container. Then they are called Spring Bean. So for example's sake, what I do is I will take target class name as wish message generator. This is my target class. Target or main class. Listen. It will generate wish message based on what? Current hour of the system date. Okay, that means system date is required in wish message generator. Who can generate system date? Date class. Date class with 0 param constructor based instantiation gives what? System date. So that's why date is what? Dependent class. So I need date class object in wish message generator giving system date, so that I can get current hour of the day. I can get what? Current hour of the day. Based on that I can generate the wish message. Based on that I can generate what? Wish message. So let's design it. And in Spring, as I already discussed, okay, according to the strategy design pattern, when two classes are there in dependency, don't design them through inheritance, design them through what? Composition. So in another video where I am going to talk strategy pattern, so there you will get idea why we should go for composition when inheritance is there for the same. Okay, for the time being, so here wish message generator is main class, date is dependent class, and I am recommending to design these classes through composition, not through what? Inheritance. Let's start designing these classes through what? Composition. Here we have wish message generator. Wish message generator dot Java. So I'm going to design wish message generator and date classes, okay, through composition. You know that composition means as a relation. Inheritance talks about is a relation. So let's design, and that too I want to see date class object getting injected to wish message generator through what process? Setter injection. That means I have to keep setter method ready in what? Target class, nothing but wish message generator. Let's design it. We always prefer taking classes with package com.nt.beans. Let's take the class, public class wish message generator. Here I am taking date property, date, and later I have to take what? Public void set date. Here is what? This dot date is equal to date. Yes, we are ready with what method here? Setter method. We don't call this method. Container calls when it wants to inject dependent class object, nothing but date class object to date property of what? Date property of main class, nothing but wish message generator class. Fine. So when we give this class and this entire structure to container, anyhow container injects date class object to date property through setter method. Let's write one business method. Public string generate wish message. This is my business method. String name. So here I want to get current hour. Get what? Current hour. In this one, int hour is equal to 0. Hour is equal to, already I am injecting date class object having system date. What is the hours? Get hours. Now I am going to write the logic. If hour less than or equal to 12, I am writing return good morning plus name. Here I am just writing GM means good morning. So similarly, copy this, paste it. Else if hour less than or equal to what? 16. What is this? Good afternoon plus name. Else if hour less than or equal to what? 20. Then tell me, return good evening plus name. Else, what is next one? Return good night plus name. end of the method, end of the class. Here I just developed main class. Sir, why are you not developing dependent class? Not required. Why? Because it's a predefined class. Then how does it will become Spring Bean? Once we configure any class in the XML file, container takes the class and loads the class and creates the object. In that process, definitely what? It becomes Spring Bean. How does you inform to container on these two classes? You have to perform setter injection. On this property, how to perform setter injection? By configuring those properties classes in what? Application.xml file. To inform to Spring container, IOC container, take these two classes, take wish message generator as main bean, date as dependent bean, inject date class object to what? Date property of wish message generator through setter injection. Somewhere we have to write the instructions, and that instructions is nothing but Spring Bean configuration file or Spring configuration file. Any file name .xml can be taken as what? Spring Bean configuration file, no doubt in that. Any file name .xml can be taken as Spring Bean configuration file, but it is suggested to take, what is that? Application context.xml as what? Spring Bean configuration file. So let us take application context.xml as Spring Bean configuration. Yes, you know that root tag beans will be there, and some Spring beans.xsd, some import statements will be there. There bean id dt. Every Spring Bean that is configured in XML file is identified with what? Bean id. That is the whenever you want to refer bean Spring Bean, you have to use what? Bean id. Bean id dt class is equal to java.util.date. Next, here what I configured? Dependent bean. Next, now let me configure main/target bean. Here bean id wish class is equal to, we are in a package com.nt.beans wish message generator. Here listen, if you configure main class, that's not enough. Along with that, I would like to configure date property for setter injection. If you configure anything by using construct-arg tag, container becomes ready to perform construct injection. If we configure same thing by using what? Property tag, container becomes ready to perform what? Setter injection. Property name is equal to date, ref is equal to dt. Property tag indicates we are configuring date property for setter injection. Ref dt says you take this date class object created by container and inject to what? This date property. So what do you mean by ref? Ref means reference. If property type is object type or reference type, then go for ref tag or ref attribute. Right now I am using ref attribute. If property type is simple or string type, then to inject values to that simple and string type property, we have to use what? Value tag or value attribute. That's nice. So it's the end of what tag? Bean tag. Then go for beans. Very simple. I configured both two classes. They become Spring Bean. On main bean, while configuring main bean, I configured one property with property tag. So that property tag becomes ready for what? Setter injection. So since property type is reference type, I have taken the support of what? Ref attribute. If I give this code to IOC container, maybe bean factory or application context container, and if I ask IOC container, give me main bean class object by submitting bean id wish. First it loads main bean class, creates the object using 0 param constructor. Then it notices it has to perform setter injection on date property. In that process, it loads date class and creates the object using 0 param constructor. In this process, date class object holds system date. That date will be injected to what? Date property of wish message generator by automatically calling setter method. All these things will be done by whom? Container, where internally. Okay, so that's why all these things are happening through what method? Setter method. That's why it's called what? Setter injection. That's why it's called what? Setter injection. Internal code. What is our internal code? What is the when this internal code? When this XML file is given to bean factory container, and if I ask bean factory container give me main bean class object by submitting bean ID, then this internal code will be generated. What is that? This code we need not write in our application. This is only for understanding. So first it loads what? Class dot for name, com dot nt dot beans dot, come on, wish message generator, loads the class and calls what method? New instance. What new instance method will do? Creates the object for the loaded class, and what it returns? Same, wish message generator. Wish message generator, wish is equal to, okay, here typecasting, because class dot for name basically loads the class. New instance method returns the object of the loaded class, but in the form of object class object. So here simply typecasting. What is this? Wish message generator. Wish message generator. Fine. So then what it will do? It has to complete setter injection on date property with what? Date dt. It takes this dt and try to load what? Date class. Class dot for name, what is this? Java dot util dot date new instance of. It loads date class and creates the object of what? Loaded date class, and also returns what? Date class object. So then what happens? Then it will think about completing injection based on this property tag. So what it will do? Wish dot, which property? Date. Then it calls what method? Set date. What I want to inject? dt. What is dt? Dependent class bean object. So in this process what happened? So date class object is injected to what? Date property of wish object. Wish object is nothing but main class object. Date object is nothing but dependent class object. Like this internally setter injection takes place when I give this code to what? Bean factory container. So let's see all these things practically through one application, complete application development. Again I am telling, we need not to write this internal code. This code will be generated by whom? Okay, container internally. But don't think that container creates the object through new keyword and all this thing. It will be created by loading classes dynamically like this. So that's fine. So let's develop the application. Application development steps. Next, number 1, arrange the following setup. Software setup. Arrange the following software setup. Spring 4.2.x. Nice. Then Eclipse Oxygen. Oxygen or Neo, no problem. Next, Eclipse Oxygen. Then JDK 1.8. This is enough. Actually JDK 1.8 also not required. Eclipse Oxygen 4.2.x. Right now this is the setup I am using. So let's start it. Next, launch Eclipse by choosing workspace folder. By choosing what? Workspace folder. So I am choosing one or other workspace here. So let me use a new workspace kind of thing. NTSP demos. NTSP demos. Yeah, something. Some workspace of some location. Don't think much on it. Later, create Java project. Create Java project as shown below. IOC pros1 something. What is the injection I want to show? Setter injection. There. What folder? SRC folder. Under SRC folder, what is this? com.nt.beans. Both the beans I have to keep, but here dependent bean is what? Predefined class. So I need not to develop. What is the class? Wish message generator. Then what is next? com.nt.cfcs. application context dot xml. Any file name dot xml can be taken, but it's a suggested to take. What is next? com dot entity test. It is not any unit testing code here. By providing container, by supplying XML file, by asking for main bean class object, I just want to see whether IOC container is really doing this dependency management or not. That kind of testing. It is no way related to unit testing. Okay. So test here, what is this? Setter injection test. Because we have written code to perform setter injection. Okay. So what about the jars in build path? Jars in build path. Since it is a core module, just 5 plus 1 jars we have to place. 5 jars you can collect from Spring libraries. Okay, 1 jar you can collect from commons-login.jar. You can download from internet, from Apache website, or you can even download from Maven repository. If you are having old Spring 2.5, from there also you can collect. If you are having Hibernate installation with you, from there also you can collect it. 5 are from Spring project, and one is dependent jar, that is commons-login.jar. So this is the basic IDE. That's nice. So let me increase the font size little bit. General, appearance, colors and fonts, basic, text font, and listen, whatever example I am developing, this is very basic example, POC kind of thing. I'm not saying it is a real-time standards application kind of thing. A POC to just enter into the Spring and to notice how Spring is performing dependency management. In the coming videos, I am going to talk about a lot of layered applications and many things. File, new, project, Java project. Java project, what's the name we decided to take? IOC pros 1. What is this? Setter injection. Say next. Say next. Finish. Yeah. Fine, we'll create the packages later. Let's add jars to the build path. Build path, configure build path, libraries, add external jars. I think I kept Spring software in the desktop. So Spring 4.2 is there, libs are there. Make sure that 5 jars are added properly. What they are? Beans, context, context support, core, expression. These are the 5 jars from Spring framework, and one dependent jar. And just before I downloaded that from the internet, because it won't come with it will not come with the Spring installation. I have to get it from separately, or you can calculate from Spring 2.5 version or Hibernate one. So I think here we have commons-login. It's a dependent one. So it's not part of Spring framework. It should be arranged separately. Apply. Okay. If you use Maven kind of thing, you just add one to main jar file, automatically depend will come. But right now I am not using Maven since it's my first application. So in the coming days, yes, in the coming videos, whatever applications I'm going to show there, I'm even going to use what? Maven kind of thing. com.nt.cfgs. Packages I am creating now. Next, new package. com.nt.beans. Next, new package. com.nt.test. Nice. So total how many packages I created? 3 packages I created. That's nice. So let's add beans. Right now 2 beans are there, main bean and dependent bean. Dependent bean is predefined class, so direct configuration in XML file. Main bean is wish message generator, I already developed. So let's copy paste that. So here is what? Class. What's the class? Wish message generator. That's nice. Wish message generator. Copy this. Paste it. Control plus Shift plus O. So let me import date class. control plus shift plus O, which is date, util date. Fine, don't worry about the deprecated method, that's not a big issue. So now we are ready with what this, yeah, it's worried about package statement, duplication of package statement, let's remove it. Yes, I removed package statement also. Okay, boss. Next, what about XML file? Let me create a first empty XML file. Other, then we got something called general, say file, say next. Then what is this? Application context.xml. You can take any file name .xml, but industry standard is what? Application context.xml. So we have to write first import statement, boss. So you know that we should not do such things manually. So happily you collect from what? Desktop. I mean to say desktop means where Spring framework is available. Go to framework, nice. Then we have a docs. Yes, we have Spring framework reference. Then we have PDF. Then Spring framework reference. Here just search for spring-bean-what XSD, spring-bean-what XSD. Copy this, copied, come here, say paste. What's the meaning of this? We are just giving instruction to Spring container. I'm developing this XML file based on the guidelines and tags and rules that are there in what? Spring-beans.xsd file. Like it's like a header statement importing schema namespace. So because yes, it's mandatory. In Spring it's mandatory. Maybe in while developing servlet kind of application, servlet based web application, keeping this kind of schema import statement is optional in web.xml, but it's mandatory, especially in Spring it's quite mandatory. Okay, fine. So let's any order you can configure. It's not compulsory. First you have to configure dependent then main. It's no rule like that. In any order you can configure the beans. So let's configure dependent bean. Then what? Bean ID class is equal to java.util.date. Then let's configure main bean. Bean ID wish class is equal to com.nt.bean wish message generator. Property name what? Date. Ref is equal to dt. Ref is equal to dt. If you want to perform indentation, you have to press Ctrl plus Shift plus F. And this key works only in Eclipse IDE it seems. So property name is equal to date, ref is equal to what? Dt. See, nothing is there. Main bean is configured, dependent bean is configured, and I am asking container to perform set injection on date property to inject what? Date class object. So if property is configured by using what? Property tag set injection. Same thing is configured by using what? Constructor-arg tag, container becomes ready to perform what? Constructor injection. Let's go for application development. So this is test kind of thing. I provide, I create container, I give XML file, I ask a container to give me main object. In this process, container won't give main object. When you ask main object, that to main object is configured with what? Setter injection. Configured for what? Main object, main bean property is configured for setter injection. So it creates both main and dependent class object, assigns dependent class object, and injects what? Injects to what? Main object. Then returns main object. For example, you have gone to showroom and asked showroom people, give me vehicle. So they just don't give vehicle. They first arrange engine. They inject engine to vehicle. Then vehicle will be delivered. Suppose you ask for engine, they just deliver engine. Because if you ask only dependent, they deliver only dependent. If you ask main, so they don't give just main. They prepare dependent, they prepare main, assigns dependent to main and returns it. So if from the container, if you ask container give me wish message generator, they just container just won't give wish message generator class object. It will create what? Dependent date class object, create main class object, it's a wish message generator, assigns date class object to what? Wish message generator, and returns it. Simple theory was, why we are thinking this much? You have gone to one like a tiffin center kind of thing, okay? By going to counter, if you ask for chutney kind of thing, they deliver only chutney. But if you ask for idli, they deliver idli with chutney. If you observe very carefully, when you ask for main, they don't just give main. They give main and along with what? Dependent. When you ask for only dependent, they just deliver the dependent. Okay, here also the same thing. So to test all these things, whether really happening or not, whether a container is really doing dependency management or not. So I am just taking one test application. So this application is called setter injection test. Main method here. First and foremost is I have to locate Spring Bean configuration file. So locate Spring Bean configuration file. Okay, cool. What should I do for that? Resource res is equal to null. A resource is an interface here. Now I am taking its reference variable. Implementing this resource interface, we have two classes. One is file system resource, other one is class path resource. File system resource internally uses java.io.file, your basic Java file class, and locates what? Given XML file as Spring Bean configuration file. So let's see what I am doing. Res is equal to, tell me, new file system resource. Tell me, src slash com slash nt slash cfg slash application context dot res is equal to new file system resource. I am specifying the path because it basically verifies for any file in the project folder, but it is not there in project folder, it is there in what? src and some package. So why are you using slash here? While referring file slash, while referring class dot. That's the standard notation we follow. So now I can say resource object is representing what? Spring Bean configuration file. Then tell me, what is this? Create IOC container. How to create IOC container? I said, no, IOC containers are lightweight containers. If you want to create Bean Factory containers, simple. There are multiple implementation classes for Bean Factory interface. Choose one class, create object, happily IOC container of type Bean Factory is ready. Container is created means indirectly container is activated, indirectly container is started. Okay, so there is a popular class. Right now it is deprecated, but still I am showing one example by keeping maintenance projects in mind. Actually, in real time, people are using application context container, but to even have a support of dealing with what? Maintenance projects. Okay, I am just starting with what? Bean Factory container. What container? Bean Factory container. That too, in the coming videos, I am going to talk what is the difference between Bean Factory container and application context container. That's why to give bit practice on what? Bean Factory container. So I'm just taking some application based on what? Bean Factory container. But industry standard is application context. I don't want to give wrong opinion to you people. In the industry also Bean Factory will be used. Industry uses application. But to address that question in the future, what is the difference between Bean Factory and application context? That is the first application. That's why better to have some practice on what? Bean Factory container. That's why I'm preferring to take Bean Factory container here. Yes. Create IOC container. What container? Bean Factory. Just know what it's a standard here. Don't declare local variable in the middle of the method definition. Neatly you declare at the top of the method definition. Neatly you please declare at the top of the method definition. Control plus shift plus factory is equal to new XML Bean Factory. It's one implementation class of Bean Factory interface of res. Of res. Right. Next. Of res. So we are ready with what here? IOC container. Get bean. Now tell me, we want to get main bean or dependent bean, main bean. Main bean means what? Wish. I already said one point clearly. Any moment we can ask IOC container to give the bean object. That time it dynamically creates what? Main object. If needed, dependent object, assigns and returns what? Main object. So let's go for, I will declare here. Object obj is equal to null. Obj is equal to factory dot get bean wish. See, every bean is identified with its bean ID. What is the wish message generated bean ID? Wish. So that means what? I am asking Spring container, I want a bean factory container. Okay, give me that bean class object whose bean ID is what? Wish. But it's a main bean ID. So it won't just give main bean object. It will first create main object, also create dependent object, that means date class object, assigns date class object to what? Main object by calling setter method because setter injection, na? And returns main object. And for this one I have given internal code, what kind of internal code it executes. That code also, that code help it will take and complete that. So then typecasting. Why should I go for typecasting? Simple. Object class reference variable is pointing to what? Wish message generator class object given by factory.getBean method. But using that reference variable, I cannot call direct business method that are there in what? Wish message generator class. Wish message generator class. But I want to call. Because generate wish message method is available where? In the wish message generator. But using object class reference variable, can I call that method? No, I cannot call. So I have to go for what? Typecasting. So to support typecasting, wish message generator. What is this? Generator is equal to null. Let me go for this. Generator is equal to, tell me, wish message generator of obj. This is my what? Typecasting. I am just doing typecasting. So let's call the business method now. Invoke business method. Sys out. Okay, what is this? Message plus generator dot. What is this? Generator dot. Okay, maybe I have not imported packages so far. Let me import the package. So generator dot, let me check, generator dot wish message generator. Actually I have written spell mistake here. Generator dot generate wish message. Okay, what is this? Raja. Generator dot this XML bean factory class is deprecated, no problem. Okay, in the coming examples I will try to give another alternate class. It's a popular one. Generally people uses XML bean factory only. So but in the coming videos I am going to use another version of what? Another class that will act as what? Bean factory container, whose object can be act as what? Bean factory container. So for the sake of maintenance projects, to habituate with what? Bean factory container, right now I am taking this deprecated one. Strike through effect means deprecated one, right? So let's run the application. Let's see once again. Main and dependent classes are taken, but since dependent class is predefined, no need of developing it. Both classes are configured, specifying set injection configurations. Here we have just taken what? A resource which locates the Spring Bean configuration file. Yes, this will create IOC container. Next, this is the real method which demands bean factory container to give what object? To give to give main object, but it won't just give main object. It creates both main and dependent object. After assigning dependent object to main object, it returns what? That main object. And if you want to avoid this typecasting, we can use one more overloaded form of getBean method in the coming videos, in the coming examples I am going to use. So I'm just keeping this video with a simple fundamentals, so that we can improvise many things in the coming applications and coming videos. So after that we got a main object, and even typecasting is also done. So let's use services of main object by calling one business method. So that's it. So set injection test.java, let's run the application. Here we are simply running the application. Oh, some exception has come. Invalid property date does not parameter. Let's see whether setup parameter is there or not there. Set date, that's nice. Go to application context.xml. Property name date, ref is equal to what? dt. Yes, it's really nice. In this setter method, somehow S has come as uppercase letter. That's why problem has come. I sorted out the problem. Fine. Now observe good night Raja, because since it is showing 9:13 p.m. so that's why it's giving good night Raja. So message is coming means, don't forget, in the wish message generator class, date class object is injected. What is injected? Date class object is injected. So, but are you creating date class object? No. Are you creating wish message generator class? No. Are you calling setter method? No. Who is doing all these things? Container. That means container is managing dependency between date class and wish message generator classes or not. Once again observe, I have given both classes to IOC container through XML file. So whenever I ask container, give me main object, it only loading both classes, wish message generator and date, it only creating both class objects and assigning what? Date class object to wish message generator class object automatically by calling setter method. How it is doing all this thing? Based on XML configurations and happily returning main object. So now main object is coming up, main object having dependent object is coming up. It is giving main object having dependent object. So we are taking that object and we are just invoking the business method. So just follow these steps, okay? You can happily complete your first application. So I hope you benefited with this video, okay? So you can catch me for more videos in this Naresh IT channel.